some of the things that I'm gonna go over, this is access to an actual ebook that shows about maybe 49 or 50 different ways to actually use a trust. All right. So if you want, you can download that. It's gonna send you an automated email, and that's it. All right. So the first thing I want to know from you guys is, what do you know already about trust? Right? Not like the friendship trust, right? What do you guys know already about the structure of a trust?
I know trustees, benefactors.
Trustees, but all right, beneficiaries.
Yeah.
There's a great movie. You guys can check this out on Netflix with your spouse or friends or whoever else. It's a great movie called Laundromat. Let's hope I spelled this correctly. All right, Laundromat. In this movie, it talks about the Panama Papers.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on YouTube.
You seen the Panama Papers or the Laundromat on YouTube?
No, I seen the Panama Papers.
Panama Papers? Okay.
Hey, it's so smooth.
What was your thoughts about the Panama Papers?
How they hide their money? That's what.
Huh?
I was it's interesting. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. Well,
because they have the Panama Papers and they have the Pandora Papers.
Okay.
So.
What was your thoughts about the Panama Papers? When you saw it on YouTube, what was your thoughts?
I wish I could learn how to do what they were doing.
Okay. All right. What else? Like anything else come to mind, or so anything stand out to you? That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, how they avoid their taxes.
Okay, cool. So the Panama Papers, like you said, was basically tax avoidance, right? So tax evasion is against the law, but tax avoidance is not. Right?
What's the difference?
The difference is tax evasion is you're basically lying and saying that you didn't make any money.
Oh, okay.
Tax avoidance is normally when you're trying to offset your taxes. So you may earn $1 billion, but then you may say, hey, but I happen to employ 10,000 people, right? So Amazon does that very, very well. So it's tax avoidance.
Tax code kind of requires you to
disclose
avoidance and stuff, right?
Yep. So what they were doing was legal. But what was illegal about it was that they weren't always reporting who the trustees were. So, and this is kind of why it ties in. So if you have time on Netflix, just type in Laundromat, okay? It's a Netflix movie, so it's not gonna be going anywhere. But type it in. It's about maybe an hour and a half, but I guarantee. I promise you.
Yeah, I just watched it not too long ago.
I promise. So, all right, you guys got this down, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the trust has 3 components. And so anyone here a basketball fan? Just one? Just 2? Okay. All right. What does Phil Jackson, or he used to talk about a lot when it comes to offense? Triangle offense, right? All right, cool. Triangle offense. Well, when it comes to a trust, it's basically the same thing. At the top of the triangle, if like we were, all coaches, whatever, the top of the triangle, you have your grantor. All right. Off the top of your head, though, what do you guys think, or who do you guys think the grantor is?
The person that
the head of the trust.
The head of the trust. Yeah.
Head of the trust. Now the person has money. Let's think about this from the aspect of a wealthy family, right? Let's say it's that wealthy grandmother, that wealthy grandfather. Who are they?
The elders.
The elders. What's another word for elder in a family?
The grantor.
Okay. What's another word? Matriarch and patriarch. Absolutely. That is essentially what the grantor is meant to be. The understanding is that at some point the matriarch or the patriarch is going to die. So then it comes into the person who's supposed to inherit it all, right? That person is the beneficiary. Or beneficiaries. You can also look at this as almost like a hierarchy of how kingship or rulership would be in medieval times, right? You would have your king and queen here. You would have the next in line of the throne, the heirs. Who would you have here? If we're talking about medieval times.
The subjects.
Not the subjects, close though.
Oh, like
Not the, very close, not the general.
Servants.
the knights.
Not the servants. So we would have,
The legal people?
kinda, yeah.
I don't know what those are back in the day.
The
the
bishops
regents.
and stuff like that.
Think about every movie. I don't know if you guys watch. You guys watch like Disney with your kids or something like that? Okay. Anybody seen? So I watch Disney a lot with my kids. So you guys seen that movie? It happens in all the movies actually. I'm trying to think of the most recent one that I saw. It was one with Angelina Jolie, but it used to be like Sleeping Beauty, but then it became Maleficent, something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. In that movie, and it happens in all the movies. There's a king and queen. They always die, right? It's like, damn, mama and daddy always die, right? It's always a prince or a princess who's left to fend for themselves, right? They kind of locked away. And then there rises up an overseer, perfect, right? Aunt and uncle, right? The next person who was meant to be in line for the throne, but they can't because they'll never, right? Scar for Lion King, right? This is real though. This happens.
Yeah.
So this person in medieval times, they call the person the regent. And the regent rules in the event that the king and queen are maybe out traveling and they get killed all of a sudden when they're out traveling. But while they're out traveling, this guy's in, he's ruling, right? On their behalf. That's our trustee.
Oh, we could talk about this. Lion King terms. So
Lion
Mufasa is the grantor.
Mufasa's the grantor.
Simba's the beneficiary.
Simba's the beneficiary.
And then you would say Scar.
Scar would be the trustee.
The trustee.
The trustee has absolute power up until one or two things happens. Up until the beneficiary becomes of age, or until there's like some kind of, if right here in the middle of this triangle would be the trust agreement, okay? And I'll put it as TA, but it means trust agreement. The trust agreement, if this was an LLC, it would be like our operating agreement, and it would tell us how this person can operate, what this person can and cannot do, and then also their reign or how long they can rule, basically, right? It would give us the ability to replace this person if necessary. It would also give us the ability to fire this person if necessary. If we find out that the trustee is doing something that, right, is not up to snuff, our trust agreement allows, or on behalf of the beneficiary, based on what the grantor would have wanted, allows us to get rid of that person. So
you have to have all three. You can't just have a grantor and beneficiary.
Nope, you gotta have all three. And the cool thing is this: out of this triangle offense, who do you think has the largest liability?
Beneficiary.
The trustee.
The trustee, not the beneficiary. The beneficiary, think about the word benefit. They are truly there for all benefits. The beneficiary is technically meant to be blind. They're not to know, supposedly, all of the assets that are within the trust. Think about, once again, going back to the Disney movie, think about the young prince or princess. They're not in the board meetings, right, that are taking place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can, now think about this. They're heirs to the throne, but for whatever reason, the trustee never invites them into the war hall or whatever else, right? Same thing here. The beneficiary is meant to be blind. In real life, why is that good for the beneficiary to be blind?
So they don't kill you.
The plausible deniability.
You said someone kill you?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's good.
The plausible deniability. Type
All right,
things.
cool. What's another way for us to say that then?
Ignorance. I don't know.
Okay. I'll give you guys a scenario. I can't think of his name at the moment, but we'll call, I forgot this guy's name. It was brother, his name was a brother, yeah, two brothers. But Hilton, right? Okay. So Paris Hilton, this looks like a C, so let me put that there. Paris Hilton is a beneficiary. She does not manage Hilton Estates, Hilton Gardens, right? Okay, we all know that. And then whoever the trustee is. This is normally not disclosed, okay, to the public. And there's a reason for that. We'll talk about that in a moment. Paris Hilton, what could she be doing that could possibly bring risk to the trust itself? Partying, drinking, snorting cocaine, right? Which I think some of those things she has done before. Making movies, absolutely making movies, right? Okay. So she would have to be blind to whatever's in the trust, because if she's doing all those crazy things, she becomes a liability. So you want to limit the liability. I spelled it wrong, but you want to limit liability. So as she's partying and living her best life, God forbid if she were to run over somebody with her car, right? What would happen if that were to actually happen? What would that family do?
Sue.
They would sue the hell out of Paris, right? And they would think, yo, I'm about to sue me at Hilton. I'm about to hit a lick, right? And unfortunately, Bobby, God bless his soul, but he's about to help my pockets get fat, right? That's what they think. So, but the truth is, does the beneficiary have any assets?
No.
The beneficiary should not have any assets. So when they sue Paris, and let's say they happen to win, or there is a settlement, whatever else, she's going to have 0 assets. Cool?
So basically, just protect the access.
Assets at all times. Here's a hint about what our current president is doing. You guys heard about the estate tax that President Biden is going to do? Okay, you guys know how much that's going to be? Take a guess.
Is it like 40% or something?
It's going to be 40% federal only. So that means if it's 40% from the federal, how much could it be from the state?
More.
About 15 to 20%, right? Let's say you live in one of those crazy states like New York, whatever. How much is that? I got 40 here from the federal.
55%.
Yeah, and I got 15% from the state. How much is that?
55%.
55%. That's basically half your dollar, right? So can you imagine if grandma or grandpa, and this is the issue with our communities as African Americans, is that when, not if, when matriarch, patriarch, grandma, and grandpa, when they pass away and they happen to have a home, this happens a lot. So they have a home, grandma, grandpa just paid off their home, and they didn't refinance it, right? They just paid off their home, and someone passes away, right? If not done correctly, if someone did want to inherit or take over that property, pretty soon they're gonna have to pay about 40 to maybe 55% in estate tax. That's a lot. Now, can you cut a house in half?
Yeah.
So what do you have to do? They're gonna make you liquidate it.
You're going to be selling all.
And then you can go ahead and decide, how you guys are gonna break bread, right? Why? Because the title of the property at the time of death is going to be in grandma's name. I'm gonna put Granny. All right, it's gonna be Granny's name. So knowing a little bit about the trust, what's one thing we could do to alleviate that?
Separate trust,
Make her.
for the home.
Set up a trust for the home. Granny becomes our grantor. It could be you. It could be your children, right? Whomever. Because this is not disclosed to the public. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
Is it the beneficiary or the trustee that's not disclosed?
If done correctly, the trustee is not disclosed, nor is the beneficiary. The only thing that's disclosed is the grantor.
Okay.
All right.
And they'll be gone.
Exactly. So it's almost like catch me if you can. Unfortunately she's in the grave. She's in the ground right now.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. If the trust was in the grandma's, like say the house in the grandma's name, and she didn't have a will, then it goes to, and she didn't have a, okay, go ahead.
I get exactly where you're coming from. You guys got this written down there?
Yeah.
The only things I would add right here in these checkpoints is that the understanding is that the grantor's wishes and operations are through the trust. So just put here wishes or desires, right, and how they want to operate it. So just as an example, and we see this every day. I'm gonna show you guys. I promise. We see this every day. We're just not aware of it. Who here has been to the Indianapolis Museum, or it used to be called like the Indianapolis Art Museum, right? Off of 38th and I get the streets because we use Michigan, Mount MLK, right? All right. We've all been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Anyone been to LA before?
I've been at the airport, but that's about it.
All right. So real quick. Key things to remember. I'm putting non-disclosures, right? NDA, okay? And this should be for you. You want to make sure you guys have this in your notes. Trustee, all right?
These are all who is non-disclosed?
Yes. It's only disclosed in the trust agreement, okay? Your trustee and your beneficiaries.
They have to sign the NDA?
So what I'm saying is that your trustee and your so if done correctly, Bob should not walk around and say, "Hey, I'm the trustee of,"
Oh, gotcha.
right? Your children should not walk around and be like, "Hey, I'm the beneficiary of grandma's estate that is worth over $2 million." They become a target.
They're supposed to stay anonymous.
It's supposed, yeah, because it's for protection. What we're taught though, through media, through music, all this stuff, right? Here's what we're taught as a people. We're taught to have an LLC. We're taught to tell everybody and your mama that you have an LLC, and then we're taught. So these are two L's. Sorry. Then we're taught to put every business, every property, every car, everything of value into this LLC, and then tell people that you own this LLC. That's what we're basically doing is we're putting all of our eggs into one basket. And then we're telling people, look at my basket. And if you got a problem with me, check my basket out. Okay? No, right? It's horrible. Because all that has to happen now is that for someone to choose to sue you. And a lot of times, I'm telling you guys the truth from experience. Most lawsuits do not make it to court. So when people who professionally are looking to get paid, they know that 80% of lawsuits end in settlements. So they're not even expecting, they don't even care about winning. They either want maybe 50%.
Yeah. That's a good
This
day.
is
Right, that's a
real.
good day right there.
Seriously. And they're like, cool.
That's a good day right there.
Yeah, they just want 50%. That's it. So this is the issue of what we're taught to do. All right. Okay. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to Brandon.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can a trust only be set up if the person is still living?
Ooh. Technically, yes. Right.
That's what I'm about to ask.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
Now, I'll be honest with you guys. We're recording, so
Yeah, it's been
I mean, hey. Well, here's the thing. Which is so crazy. This is a quick claim deed. See, what I put it.
And the Panama Papers, that laundromat touches on that a little bit, right? I think I remember that.
I'm gonna watch that.
So here's what was happening, and here's what people have done. And I just want you guys to you'll think about this. You'll go, Now, real quick. One thing that's cool about Indiana is in Indiana they will allow the heirs to sell the property of the deceased as long as the purchase price is under $50,000. I've done it a lot. So it's just one of those things where it's like, dang, our house is, and I've heard it a lot, our house is worth $300,000. Like, yeah, it is. And my grandma left this to all of us. Man, that's awesome. And we don't want to get nothing less than $300,000. Okay. I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The realtor's gonna say, we can do it. The realtor may even put it up for sale. The title company will say, who's head of the estate? You say, what estate? We didn't go here. Like, yeah. If you're gonna sell it for over $50,000, you're gonna have to petition the court and choose who's gonna be head of the estate. You know what people do then?
They start fighting.
They be like, no, they say, when you get in the, I don't know why, but they say, when you get in the court involved.
Yeah.
And then they say, listen, so-and-so said they'll give, and this is sad, but this is the guy honest truth. So-and-so said they'll give us $45,000 in 2 weeks. And that's not what happens. And unfortunately, I hate it, but I've done it multiple times. Someone dies, first off, when someone dies, it's public record. So you guys know how to look that up? I got you. I'll show you that. Seriously. So when someone passes away, unfortunately, it's public record. In the court records, it actually shows you people who die that own assets.
It lists their assets.
Life insurance.
Not life insurance, but physical assets where the county can tax it, basically.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So like cars and homes, basically, right? So then it's public record, so you can actually reach out to them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times what people do to hold, we ain't selling nothing until we get, grandma had this house and they coming in gentrifying, so we want top dollar. Cool, I think you should get top dollar too.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is when they petition the state, the county, to have, someone head of their estate, all that stuff, it takes time. And most of the time they have to get a lawyer, right? So in their mind, they're thinking that it's a hot market, blah, blah, blah. They're thinking in their mind, 30, maybe 60 days to pay that. They start going through that process. They didn't know they had to get a lawyer, they had to pay attorney fees, they had to file this, file that, show up for this, show up for that, show proof that they're heirs, all that other stuff. And then 6 months later, they're frustrated. And I've seen some, matter of fact, I've been involved in some deals where unfortunate person dies, they have multiple properties, the person didn't have a will, right? And their baby mother, whatever, wants to, sell everything for top dollar. She thought it'd be an easy process. And unbeknownst to her, because you have attorneys involved, right? And a lot of times attorneys only move as quickly as you pay them. So the attorney themselves may even slow walk it. A year later, the property is still there. What happens though?
It's been neglected.
It's been neglected, but what does the county want?
Taxes.
Yeah. That's real. So that happens a lot.
So this is all part of the probate process then?
It's on purpose. The county has it on purpose. See, the county knows that it's gonna take you some time to get in front of a judge. But at that time, they're still
Just taxing it.
absolutely. They're not gonna abate your taxes just because someone passed away. If anything, they might even increase it as other people are increasing the property values, right? So how does someone get around that? Pretty easy, right? In the Panama Papers, what they were doing was they would have multiple quitclaim deeds. So let's say they have like 4 quitclaim deeds. This is real. It's straight up, I promise you. And they'll have multiple trust agreements. All right. Let's say they have 4 trust agreements. Your trust agreement can have whatever language you want. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll give you guys a template for trust agreements. Okay. You can add whatever you want in there. You guys got me? So if you wanted your trustees to have to check in with you once a quarter, or you can add whatever you want. Okay.
Is this how they hire their wealth and stuff like that?
Yeah, and I'm gonna show you the key. The key is this though. Every one of these quitclaim deeds, the recipient part is blank, but every one of them is notarized through a public notary in advance. Does that make sense? Okay, so that means they have 4 different trust agreements written out, but maybe the beneficiary is one of the beneficiaries is blank. Maybe one of the trustees is blank. They plan on, you know, maybe grandpa decided that he doesn't like his current girlfriend, and she think that she's in there and she's not. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
So each one of these has a notary stamp. Every last one of them has a notary stamp.
Which means it's official and
It's
executed
official.
because it's already been notarized.
It's already been notarized. The only place your quitclaim deed goes when you're ready to record it is it goes to the county. The county is gonna charge you, our county at least, is gonna charge you $46.50. That's it. What do you guys know about a quitclaim deed? Think about every quitclaim deed you've seen. Think about when you guys close on property.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I used to deal with mortgaging, and if you have a quitclaim deed, whoever's name is on the quitclaim deed becomes part of the property without having the debt added to it.
There's one more thing what you guys think about. On the quitclaim deed, who has to sign it?
The only person who has to sign it is the person who's taking over the property, right?
The person
Or the person
who's
who's losing it, signing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can have a quitclaim deed, one of them that is written out to your cousin, one that's written out to the LLC, one that's written out to Billy Bob, one that's written out to a different trust.
So this is for the same property or for the same properties?
They would do it, yep, however you want to do it. Because basically this is their insurance policy.
They were doing it with businesses, though.
They're doing it with businesses, yeah. But this is basically their insurance policy. On a quitclaim deed, the recipient doesn't have to sign anything. Because the recipient could be a child.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? You guys got me so far? Okay. The recipient doesn't have to sign anything. So, and as you guys already know, this helps me out a lot though by saying this. In a quitclaim deed, the grantor relinquishes ability, but the grantee receives. And the best way to think about that is just the E for receives. All right, cool. That helps me out a lot. I swear. With legal stuff, anytime you see the E, it means to receive. All right. But the grantee never has to sign the quitclaim deed. The grantee doesn't even have to sign the trustee agreement. Make sense now?
Mm-hmm.
So you can have 4 different deeds, 4 different agreements. The grantee or the beneficiaries, in this example, the beneficiaries could be different for each one. That's what they do in the Panama Papers. When you guys watch the movie, you'll see that there was one time where, unfortunately, this husband was cheating on his wife, and the wife was like, "All right, cool, you know, whatever." And so the next, maybe a week later, the wife goes to the attorney's office, and she wanted to basically liquidate all of the holdings of their family, and then file for divorce, right? He had already had years prior another trust agreement set up that was already notarized to where she wasn't even a beneficiary of the trust.
Mm-hmm. So she had nothing.
So when she requested whatever of them, he basically told them to dispose of trust agreement number 5 and only use trust agreement number 3, basically. So I'm telling you, it was ridiculous. So when she was there, she said, "What? All those agreements were notarized, and the trust agreements are never recorded." All right.
So, all right, I'm lost. So let's say, just to make things simple,
Yes.
right? Let's say I just have one property,
Yes.
right? And I have 4 different trust agreements,
Okay.
right? And I have 4 kids.
Okay.
So each agreement goes to a separate kid. And does your example apply to that scenario, or are you thinking of something different?
You don't. So with the children are beneficiaries.
Right.
The only reason you would do something like that is if, for whatever reason, one of the 4 kids, maybe you didn't like them, or you guys got a lot of. This is real though.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got a lot of contention, or whatever, right? And so in your mind, you're like, "Yo, I'm not going to even announce this, but when I'm gone, Billy has been a pain in my ass, and he's not going to get nothing." So in that trust agreement, it would have under beneficiary, it's gonna have a line as a beneficiary, and all it does is list names. Billy wouldn't be one, it's only have 3 names instead of 4.
Okay, so we're talking about just on that one trust agreement, not, cause I'm confused as to why you said you have 4 different trust agreements. That's the part that I'm missing.
The only reason, the only reason, like, maybe in the movie or in real life that people would do something like that is if they're trying to cut somebody out.
Preparing to cut people out.
They're
If something
already
goes
anticipating to
down.
cut somebody out, yeah.
But how do you,
Like the wife was going after the money and stuff,
Right.
so he already had a trust agreement ready to go.
For all we
Cut
know,
her out.
for all we know, he could have been a dirty dog the entire marriage, and that was his way of having his own insurance policy.
Okay.
so,
Seriously, yeah.
So if you have 4 different agreements, do you say which one is priority? Do you give a priority to, okay,
Yep.
got you.
Because it's gonna be 4 different documents. Once they're notarized, they're considered to be live documents, and you would just choose whichever one is best suited for you. In movies, like when we're watching movies, so think about like when we watch a movie and someone has a safe, like an older person has a safe, right? And inside their safe, there is all these documents. It's not a lot of money in the safe. It's just documents, right? All those they're just different trust agreements. That's it. That's all that is. There's different trust agreements. All right. We'll give you guys a real live example. All right, ready? Y'all ready? The museum we're talking about. Let's think about what is the Indianapolis, or they call it something different now, Newfield, right? What is that? What's Newfield?
It's a display for people's art,
Okay.
for people to come.
How did it become about?
It's a trust, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Whose trust is it though?
Whoever Newfield is.
I know like Lily's home is over there. So
Huh?
I know like Lily's home, the guy that started Lily.
Is Lily's home over there, or is that his home?
Well, that's
His
I
home.
guess that's his home.
Yeah. So who was the grantor?
Probably him.
Eli Lilly.
Right.
Okay, cool. All right. Who's the trustee? Huh?
Don't know.
All right. I'm gonna do. Everyone has their phones, right? All right. We're gonna come back to this. This is not off the hook, but I'm gonna give you guys an easier one. All right. And I haven't forgot about this state test. I got you guys now as well. Okay. Here's an easy one. Then we'll go back to Eli Lilly. All right. Sorry. Who's my grantor in this?
Bill and Melinda.
All right, cool. I'm just gonna be an M, right? Who's my trustee? Google it. So I want you guys, because this happens in our face every single day. I want you to Google it just on your phone. Trustee of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, I want you guys to think about this. If you have to have a trustee, then what is it?
A trust.
A trust. Then we think it's a foundation. Y'all catching me?
That's just because what they named it.
That's just
You can name
exactly.
the trust whatever you
You can
want.
name it whatever the fuck you want. You can name it stupid ass.
Cause I thought it was a foundation.
No. Okay, better yet. When you go to the bank, what is the bank? Every bank is a trust. They have a board of
Directors.
trustees.
Oh.
I swear to you, every university is a trust. Every endowment fund is a trust. We think it's about an LLC. That's not how you preserve your wealth. LLCs is not how you preserve your wealth. An LLC is used to obtain, but you don't put your wealth in an LLC. Nobody do that. All right, who's the trustee of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
It says Bill Gates, I see Melinda Gates, and Warren Buffett.
Thank you. I want you guys to think about that. Let that sink in. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, is a trustee. Let this sink in. Is a trustee of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
So basically, he runs the fund, he runs the trust, correct?
Yeah.
It runs all the operation.
But who would have been on behalf of who are the beneficiaries?
It's probably Bill and Melinda.
Bill and Melinda.
Click that up, I just.
Oh, damn, sorry.
Oh, dang.
Straight up. Look, when you hear them say, "I'm not giving my children anything,"
They sure did.
well, where is it going?
To a trust somewhere, to a foundation.
To the trust that works on their behalf. That's the same thing here, y'all. The reason that grandma would have to pay 50% tax is because it's not in a trust. When they pass away, they don't pay any taxes because they put it in a trust. That's the difference.
Okay, so how do you move how do you move your assets from an LLC to a trust?
Quick claim deed.
Quit claim it to.
It's quick claim deed. It's $46. It's that easy. Quick claim deed.
You do a quick claim deed from, if you're the owner, so you're doing a quick claim deed from yourself to whatever you name that trust.
Well, it makes a lot of sense now too, because when me and Brandon opened our LLC, they told us to have a third person. And that's what we did. We made Duran the third person. So it makes a lot of sense now. Just putting it all together
It
now.
would still be better than even having a trust.
Because Duran is the beneficiary.
But you have a trust?
And Brandon is the guardian and I'm the trustee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Think about when you go to the bank. Anybody ever wire money before?
Yeah.
All right, what they ask you? Think about all right, for real. Think about what do they ask you? Just say it. Just tell me what
The
comes to
routing
mind.
number,
The routing
information,
All right, what else?
and who's it going to?
All right,
The name of the bank or the.
What do they call that though?
The shit, what do they call it?
Come on. You guys know. Think about it.
Talking about the
When you-
actual,
When you wire money, yeah,
yeah,
and you're filling out the form,
the routing
Who the
number.
beneficiary is.
it's called a beneficiary on the form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to know why? You know who the trustee of your bank account is?
You,
The fucking bank.
oh, the bank is your trustee.
I swear to God, they are. They have it on. It's written there. When you open your account, they tell you they're the trustee of your account
Yeah, you can do anything.
on behalf of the FDIC, who's supposed to insure it for you. It's in our face every day. I promise you. All right. So Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Okay. Yeah. Bill and Melinda aren't giving their kids anything. Whoop-de-whoop. They're leaving it to the trust. How do we know? Because that's basically where half of their wealth is right now. Okay.
But those kids are probably beneficiaries to that trust.
Come on. Absolutely.
So they're not getting any money in checks, but they're going to be access to the funds.
They may get distributions quarterly or yearly or whatever else.
Oh,
So that's spelled out in the trust agreement, right?
I mean,
so the trust can pay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The trust can pay the
That's what
trustees.
trust fund kids are.
Trust fund
all
baby?
that.
What's the benefit of being a trust fund baby if you can't get no money?
Yeah.
So I know someone that actually they needed a house, so the trust purchased the house, but they can't sell the house because it's in the
That's right.
agreement. Because it's like them, their sister, and their brother, so they purchased the house through the
Okay.
trust, but they can't sell the house. If they sell the house, they have to give permission, and all the money has to go back to the trust.
Check this out. You ready for
They
this?
probably can sell the trust though.
Y'all ready for this? As long as this is the way that you don't pay taxes is when the money goes back to the trust. The reason that Billy, Mark, and everyone else, as they're grieving about grandma, the reason that they're gonna have to pay that bill of 50% is because it wasn't in the trust. But even if they put grandma's property into a trust, and you can name it the trust, whatever you want, you can literally name it Granny Trust. Okay? You can name it Granny Land Trust if you want. All right?
So that's why the apartment people be doing that.
Yeah. That's why Walt Disney, before he built Disney World, he put every parcel of land in a trust. When he liquidates or buys or sells, instead of him cashing out, he just put that money in the trust. If you're the trustee or whatever else, you can still have that trust buy other things. It's not like it's not like it becomes ice and it freezes, becomes frozen. You can still have that trust buy other things. And you can have Billy Bob rent your property and pay your
Trust.
Yeah.
And then the trust pays you a distribution out of it.
Yeah.
But don't you have to pay taxes on that distribution?
You would.
But the trust wouldn't have to pay.
But the trust is good. It's still gonna grow. All right. So let's go back to Eli Lilly real quick. All right. So now you guys know that Newfields. Just think about it. Who here has ever been to the museum? Did y'all go to the house in the back of the museum? No one has gone to the house in the back of the museum?
The Lily House?
Check it out though. Think about this, y'all. We got the museum here. What do you have across the street? It's not a cemetery. No, you think about, yeah, no.
I don't think that's
So
the
not
building.
across there, not across that street. So across 38th Street. What's across 38th Street? Yeah, it's a golf course. Who do you think that golf course belongs to?
The trust.
Yeah. It's guarded perfectly. Somehow or another, it only got like 100 members. All right, check this out. Okay. So we know that Eli Lilly, right, the actual person, was the grantor. All right, I want you guys to look this up on your phone real quick. There's something called a charitable, that's what charitable, right? But charitable trust. Just someone is typing your phone and tell us what is a charitable trust. What is a charitable trust? What's a charitable trust? What is a charitable trust? Now look.
A trust that you donate money to give to charity, right?
Sure. Yeah.
A charitable trust is essentially a way to set up your assets to benefit you, your beneficiaries, and a charity. All at the same time, a charitable trust could offer many financial advantages, but it's not really telling me what it is.
All right. Click it and just see what some of those financial advantages are. As you're fact checking, I'm gonna tell you guys the quick and dirty of it. A charitable trust is still a trust. The biggest difference is that the charitable trust, some of the beneficiaries happen to be a charity or a nonprofit. Now you can create your own nonprofit. Okay? So you can make your own nonprofit a beneficiary within your trust. And as long as a certain percent of your profits or proceeds happens to go to this charity that you named as a beneficiary, you pay no taxes.
So, and tell me if I'm wrong. So, like say for instance, if I have a business, right?
Yes.
And then I form a trust. Can my business pay that trust?
Can your business pay? Yeah, but you wouldn't want to do it that way.
You want the trust to pay the business.
You want the trust to pay the business.
I'm lost.
All right, cool. That's cool. Let me give you an example. So, all right, charitable trust, and we'll come back to Eli Lilly again. All right. What you want is whatever you quote unquote invest in your trust as far as money, that becomes your contribution. All right. The idea is, there's a lot of ways to do this. This is you guys heard of cash flow banking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
You heard of cash flow banking a little bit? All right, I'm gonna just make it really kind of simple. All right, we all know what life insurance is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll use small numbers like a $20,000 life insurance policy, okay? And I'll make it into like a graph bar or something like that. So this is our $20,000 life insurance policy, okay? And let's say this is with Transamerica, okay? And we make a $20 a month payment to Transamerica. Now, we're able, if we want, we can make, you know, when you have life insurance, what's the point of it?
In case you die.
In case you die, there you go.
When you die, we all gonna die.
When
so.
you die, yeah.
All right. When you die, but what?
People who can have fun money from it.
Beneficiaries. Cool. All right, we're getting there. Can your beneficiaries be a person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be a trust?
Yes.
All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. If so, this is us becoming, this is beneficiary, right? In case you guys are taking notes, this is beneficiary. So some event happens, someone passes away, and you can put in your life insurance policy you want your beneficiary to be a trust. We're good. Everyone's good with that so far. All right. Who here has money in like their stock account, E-Trade account, whatever else, right? Okay. And I'll like make a chart basically to these stocks. Okay. So this is a stock account. Does your stock account allow you to have a beneficiary?
Yes.
Yes.
So you make it to trust the beneficiary.
Make the trust a beneficiary. For those of us who have IRAs or 401ks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So everything's feeding the trust.
Everything's feeding the trust. If you wanted to, you could take one investment property and quit claim it into the name of the trust. All right? You could sell it. So I'll put sell.